Okay, guys, welcome back to the Glenn Taylor channel. Today, I want to show you a little bit of the inner workings of YouTube and what it looks like when you are creating and posting in the very early stages. So, I'm going to just show you. I'm going to open up my dashboard. So, I've only posted to date 5 videos on this brand new channel. It is very fresh, right? I have another channel that I've had initial success with, and my first swing at the bat. Okay, I have no background in any of this, but I wanted to show you guys, um, you know, what it looks like starting out if you're really being serious about the whole concept, right? So, um, I'm gonna show you the content that I've made so far. Now, I went for the niche of just like the journey from 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours or 3 million or 10 million short views for monetization, right? And I wanted to show you the reality of what growth was going to look like in incremental sort of steps, right? um, and just give you an insider view of what it actually looks like if you've never done it before, or if you're thinking of getting into doing it. So I think I'm gonna just show you the very not the very first one I made, but I'm gonna show you and just walk you through the process of the first videos I started with. So the very first one I started with was talking about starting a YouTube channel in 2026, and trying to talk about the truths of what you can actually expect when starting a YouTube channel, right? And then I went into kind of talk about, I wanted to show, some of the process. So if you've never made a video or a short or whatever, I wanted to start to get into that sort of format of video creation, which is much like I'm doing right now, a screen share, right? Um, and so I was just trying to give beginners little tips and tricks that have helped me in my previous channel to get subscribers and to up that 1,000 subs really quick, actually, using some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. And so the whole idea behind this channel is to just give everyone who comes by and clicks and stops by to watches to learn and glean something if you're thinking about getting into it. It's all for the beginner. And plus, I like, yeah, it wouldn't be fun to watch somebody as they try to climb through and see how things go. And like, so I want to check back in on a week to week basis to see, the 2 videos I'm going to put out a week, how they've performed over that period of time, and then try to glean information from those videos as best we can. Talk about thumbnail creation and what works and what isn't working, and titles, and working with the tools like ChatGPT and stuff like that for a lot of SEO and even script creation, things like that. Um, and and we'll talk about creator, difficulties and everything that comes along the way. Because let me tell you, man, you will struggle, you will fumble, especially as a beginner. And if you have no background, one thing I would suggest is, go. That's what YouTube's great for, is how tos, right? So, you know, find out the softwares you want to work with. With me, I try to keep it pretty simple and basic. So, if you're going to want to follow around with me, I would say get CapCut, get ChatGPT, get Canva, get your channel ready and all set up on YouTube. And then, so when you do tune into me, we can kind of work together and you can do a follow along, because that's, what, I think you'll glean some cool stuff. We're also going to want to get some pretty cool AI software like Leonardo AI. And if you don't like hearing your own voice, you can get something like 11 Labs, right, to create AI voices, right? And that's what I started out with initially. I didn't want to use my face. I didn't want to do anything. So I went all AI. And that was the first, like, that's how I started it. I never filmed myself. Now I've gotten to a stage where I just don't care. Like, I've had enough. I just don't care. Um, and so the point is, I will also show you the types of videos you can make, right? If, like, depends on what your comfort level is, right? So I mean, the channel is going to be pretty comprehensive, and it's going to be episodic, and it's going to be a day by day slam and struggle. And sometimes it'll be like dredging through mud. Um, but much like today, I was so dragging my feet, like, what do I make a video about? And so I was finally like, okay, I'm gonna screen share the journey, because that's what this channel's supposed to be, right? The destination, right? 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. So, you know, we're gonna find out together what that looks like as a team, as a community, as friends, something like that. Anyways, moving right along. So yeah, you can see here on the side, if you haven't been, if you've been watching me, then I mean, I feel bad for you. On the side here, you can see all the titles that I've come up with and some ideas about the thumbnails. And now I use Canva for thumbnails, and I've been tinkering around with them today. Um, and so here's one thing I want you guys to understand: when you start uploading your first videos, don't have the expectation that everything's going to blow up right away. It won't, right? There's like it's very, 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 very rare that that will ever happen, right? So um, find out what your niche is, find out what you're interested in. What are you good at? What do you do? What can you speak to? What can you teach? Or what are you interested in, right? And try to think about, is this something I can sustain? Is this something that I can wake up and do every day? Is this a subject that I want to tackle on my day in day out sort of grind? Because that's what it is, right? Now if you're doing this casually on the side, and you have full-time work, and you're doing this on your weekends and in your spare time, that'll work. It's just, it might take you a bit longer to get there. Once again, it all depends on the content you're making. um, and I mean, the biggest thing I would say is consistency, and not giving up, because the only difference between the people that make it and the people that don't are the ones that just keep posting, right? And that's the reality. So uh, very early stages here on the Glenn Taylor channel. But I really hope you guys stay for the journey, because it should be fun. It should be entertaining, and I think when you build community like that, you can get together and share information, right? And help be tactful for one another, right? So I guess that's like, rather than do what all the pros and all the, like, the gurus out there tell you to do, right? And they sell you a bill of goods. I'd say let's create together our own online ability of teaching one another the process through a community, rather than doing one of their charged versions, right? We do it together. And besides, there's nothing you can't find on YouTube as it stands, right? So, in that sense, people can also, you know, give out other video ideas or things to watch that might help people in their growth journey. Because there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of not so great information out there. But YouTube is forever changing, so it's hard to know exactly um, who to listen to at all times. But this is why the channel is great, because we can get we can learn from this channel what's going on, and you can apply it to yours, ahead of time, or at the same time, right? So that's the idea, that's the concept. So moving right along, um I think my next video is probably going to be on uh a bit more video creation, but I think I might incorporate CapCut. Um, and CapCut is a great editing tool. And so here we are. This is what it looks like if you've ever used it before. This is where you import your media, and yeah, we'll get into that right after I stop talking. Okay. Okay. Catch you next episode when we start to tackle, some serious stuff. All right. Check you later.